Hi, my name is Brooke Horton, and this is my documentary about my travels to Chile. As you can see in this, I am getting pinched by a crab, and it hurt really bad. But I survived, and I was okay. Anyways, I love traveling. I love going in water that you may think is warm, but it's actually really cold. Um, and I love going different places, and I'm so blessed to be able to go these different places. These are some killer whales that we saw, some orca whales in Canada, and I thought they were really cool. And I also am fascinated by the most simplest stuff, as in really tall wheat fields in Oklahoma. And I also recently was able to go on a trip to Rome, Italy, and see amazing things like the Sistine Chapel and the Vatican, which were really cool. And I also got to see the Colosseum, which was amazing and crazy how they could build that. I love traveling. I love being able to see statues, art, nature, everything that we can't see where we normally live. And I am so blessed to be able to do this, and I'm excited to show you this documentary. I travel alongside my husband and his family, who are gracious to take us wherever they go. So, first, where is Chile? Chile is in South America, by Argentina, below Peru, and Bolivia. And we started by going to the capital city, which is Santiago, Chile. This is where the most population is. It is very busy, lots of tall buildings, and lots of people. This is also where I was able to live for a year and a half as a missionary. We then flew down to the south of Chile, where hacia los pingüinos, which they say where the penguins are. We went to Puerto Montt, and then we got a car and we drove to Osorno, Chile, which, as I can scroll in, you can see Osorno a little bit more. And then we drove east toward the border of Argentina, and we were able to stay in the Parque Nacional, which was really cool, Puyehue, and had some really big lakes. This is the region of the lakes where there are so many blue, green lakes that are almost never touched. We were able to stay in an exclusive park called Parque Futangue, which had amenities such as a hotel. They had a restaurant where we were able to get all our food, and they had so many hiking trails that we were able to visit. So this is my documentary about Chile. We started off our trip by renting a car in Santiago the day that we arrived, and that was a mistake. There was so much traffic. It was really busy. We then stopped at a restaurant, and we were able to get classic marraqueta bread with eggs and just a slice of cheese over it with some tea, which really calmed our stomachs after flying. We then visited the classic Cerro San Cristobal. This is a hill that you can take a tram up, if you can see us passing some other trams while we are heading up. But you can see the city, and it is such a big city. There are millions and millions of people who live here and have their jobs here, and it is an amazing view of Santiago. As you can see on top, there are palm trees everywhere, which you wouldn't have thought for Chile, but there are a lot of palm trees. There's also the Saint Maria statue, and along with lots of velas or candles around, which shows this is a place of worship where people can go to church, and they're playing music on top, and it's a really special place for the Chileans. This is below the tram, which is just a nice park. You wouldn't have thought that this would be here in Chile. I think when I think of Chile, I think of a third world country, but it's a really actually nice city. Next, we sat at this park and ate the classic empanada de pino, which is an empanada with beef. and cut up onions inside. And this park is so nice because there are water amenities and it is just very well maintained, which you would not expect. We then drove around the city a lot to just go sightsee. However, the city is really scary when driving. You can see us running a red light right then. That it was just very stressful because there are some traffic laws that you are not used to in the United States. And so it's a little crazy. You can also see on the trees that the leaves are falling because over there it is fall. And I just thought this artwork was really cool. I didn't know if it was graffiti or something put there by the city, but it was something different that you usually don't see. Alright, we then flew down to the south of Chile to Puerto Montt. This is some beautiful scenery in our drive from Puerto Montt to Osorno to Futange Park. And it is just so green. You can see it's raining, and it is always raining down in the south of Chile. There is just so much humidity and wetness. It's amazing how much rain there is and how people are still able to have a life down there. You can see these bus stops. So there's a common bus that comes by, and that's where people wait. And they're really well maintained, which surprised me. This is just some more of the scenery, the land that's down there. The classic Chilean house is just one of these houses with a tin roof, and you can have just like a fireplace going on and wood burning fire, and just seems like a classic Chilean house to me. You can see the beautiful mountain ranges around us. They're just so green. I was just so surprised with how beautiful and how dense they are. My husband really wanted me to take this video because look at these cars. They were all the same, and they were really fast, which was really cool. Okay, our first day in Futange was very peaceful. We just got to our rooms, and I was able to lay on my bed and just watch the rain fall, which was really nice. And then our second day, we went on a hike to see some beautiful waterfalls. This was more of a walk. It was just around the park, and these are just so much water coming down because there was so much rain the entire time we were there that the waterfall was really full, which were really cool. There's just some scenes from Chile that are just really pretty that I really loved. We were on a walk, and we also found this really cool flower that you usually don't see. That we looked it up, and it was really kind of special flower. We went on about a few mile hike up these waterfalls, and we passed so many waterfalls on our way, and then finally we got to this lake, and it was just so beautiful. Just you can see my husband waiting for me. This lake was called Laguna Pichi, which it was just so green and really cool. I was very impressed. You can see us passing through these crazy rivers, which would be very scary if you got caught in these rivers. Okay, the next day we drove up this 4-wheel road, which we did not have a 4-wheel vehicle, but it had an amazing view of the main lake that we were staying around, and it was so pretty. And you can see this cabin up top that somebody's there 24/7 manning the cabin, which is really cool, and somebody is always there to help you. It is a really beautiful view. I was really impressed. Now I'm going to take you along on our hike, which is very beautiful. There's a river flowing through, or a little brook on the side of the trail, and it was a lot of hiking, but it was well worth it. You can see the very dense greenery around us, which makes just for a very lively environment around us. There weren't a lot of animals, there were some bugs, but other than that, we didn't have to worry about bears or anything super dangerous. As we were walking, if you can see like the dirt on the road coming up, there are slits in the road for the rainwater so that the rainwater doesn't wash out the road, which was really smart. And there were people along the way working on making these slits accurate so that the rainwater doesn't destroy the road. I am really taking you along with us on this hike. As you can see, there's signs, drive with caution. Um, it's just a very pretty road, and I can see someone wanting to go really fast and having so much fun. It was so well maintained. There were signs along the way all over. As you can see from this sign, it shows where you're supposed to go and what trail you are on. which is really helpful as someone who is hiking and not really used to the country. This sign right here just says tall rock, which I thought was really funny because it is a really tall rock and with some really cool coloring in it, which I wonder how that came along. I do know that there were volcanoes all around us, which means that there's volcanic rock. Okay, this is the first waterfall that we saw that was very pretty. You can see this is the one side of the waterfall, which we are really high in the mountains. And then this is the other side, and it goes up really tall above us. My brother-in-law caught a frog, which was really cute. There were frogs all over the forest, and it was just a little frog. Okay, this was the scariest part of our hike for sure. This was a rope bridge, and as you can see from these signs, it says don't balance and don't jump, which my family loves to push the limits and try to balance and jump on the rope bridge. But I thought it was kind of scary. This is my husband videoing walking over because I was too scared to video, because it is just rope and the wooden boards are held on by just rope and they are really thin. I was very scared I was going to fall. You can see the gaps between the boards are pretty big, but there's a beautiful waterfall right here, which is so amazing. For some reason, my husband thought it was a good idea to jump and test the bridge. As he comes up on the side, you can see my face is not very happy. Is a little scared for him. But they loved returning back onto the bridge and taking pictures and enjoying the moment with this beautiful waterfall on a rope bridge. It's not a lot of experiences like this in life. I was very ready to be over with the rope bridge. Once we got to the end, we have to cross this river, and my husband and father-in-law were so gracious to help us get across the river because it was very cold. It was fresh water, and it was also very cold outside as well. These are just some fun travel moments with me and my brother-in-law, and it was so rainy, very wet, but it was so worth it and really cool. As we were finishing our hikes, we saw some cool animals, and then these next films I want you to just watch and enjoy. This is the classic Chilean dance.
Viva Chile, que sigue la vida, viva la flor del Copihue, que sigue la vida, viva la flor del Copihue. Viva el pueblo que tenga amores por una buena, que sigue la vida, amores por una buena. Lo primero que ofrecen a la tolerita, un pañuelito blanco, y mira y una cintita, un pañuelito blanco, y mira y una cintita, y sí, mira la tolerita, cuando se ve querida, y mira aquí la maldita. Yo te adore, mi vida no pierde.
As we headed home from this beautiful Parque Futange, we were very sad to leave these beautiful waterfalls, lots of rain, but super green an amazing experience. I can 10 out of 10 recommend Chile, and not just Santiago, but also the south of Chile. I think the south of Chile is one that takes the cake, and it is so beautiful. Here are just some extra videos that I have of the amazing scenery of the south of Chile, and some crazy bugs too. That was a big bug. Thank you for watching my documentary. I hope you enjoyed it and that you learned something, and that one day you put Chile on your bucket list to visit, because it is amazing, and I think that every person should go visit it. Thank you.